Winter is the perfect time to explore California, and there's no better way to do it than in a brand new Toyota Hybrid with 19 fuel-efficient options, like the stylish all-hybrid Camry, the adventure-ready RAV4 Hybrid, or the rugged Tacoma Hybrid. Toyota has the perfect ride for any adventure. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan, an exclusive hybrid battery warranty, and of course, Toyota's legendary quality and reliability. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive one today so you can be prepared for wherever the road takes you this winter. Toyota, let's go places. See your local Toyota dealer for hybrid battery warranty details.
In a so-called free state, officials and stakeholders concoct solutions to problems often created by other bureaucrats and with little regard for infringements on the people. These stories are born at the apex of freedom and entrepreneurship. We foolishly advocate for the taxpayer. Brian's Beat presents Freedom Fools.
Hour 3 of Freedom Fools. What a day. Yes, indeed. I'm sorry. It's funny. I got an email, and it just kind of surprised me. It's like the lottery. No, it wasn't, but it just kind of seemed that way. Hour 3. Quote of the day: only with both economic liberty and personal liberty can countries prosper, economies thrive, and individuals lead happy, autonomous, fulfilling lives. That quote from author David Berglund. I see you there, and I'm going to get to you in just a sec. I want to quickly throw this in there because it's been gnawing at me past 2 or 3 days. Again, New Boston Post. I do read them often. I like most of the stuff that they put up. I get a kick out of a lot of the stuff that they put up because sometimes I just think they haven't caught up to the times. Here's something that I have a little beef with. Put up by Tom Joyce, New Boston Post. The headline read, "Left-leaning dollars," as in dollar signs, floods Dedham Church as anti-ICE nativity display remains up weeks after Archdiocese said, take it down. Now, I happened to read what the Archdiocese stated, and they did not say, take it down. A Dedham Catholic Church says it has received an outpouring of left-leaning support and donations after refusing to remove an anti-ICE nativity display ordered taken down by the Archdiocese of Boston. That's all part of the title. A couple of paragraphs into the story, the display includes an empty manger and a side reading, quote, "ICE was here," close quote, referring to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. On December 5, the Archdiocese said the display sends an inappropriate political message and should be taken down. Should be taken down isn't ordered to take it down. Twist on words. All right, 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, we're close to the end of the world, Brian. I don't know if
The
you
end
know
of
this.
the world?
Yeah, we're getting there. You got a rogue priest that does whatever he wants to do, but that's not why I called. You were talking earlier about ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units, and
Yes.
rent control.
Yep.
And government housing like HUD, housing and urban development. But these are all symptoms of where we arrived. And the Uniparty, two giant corporations that are represented by special interest groups, Republican Party and the Democrat Party, they're corporations, and they're not doing our bidding because we can see the writings on the wall. And I'm not talking about graffiti, but first it was the outsourcing of jobs. They gutted America of our factories and our jobs, and then they opened up the border for everybody to come in. And then, while all that's happening, they kept running up the bill, the credit card bill. Uncle Sam now is over $38 trillion, and we can't even pay the interest. The devaluing of the dollar that started with FDR. He took the dollar off the gold standard for domestic transactions, and then came along Nixon, and he took the dollar off the gold standard in 1970, and it was backed by oil, the petrodollar. And then, what the dollar's backed by today? Take a guess, Brian.
The dollar is backed by oil.
No, it's not. It's backed by the American people, the taxpayers. It's collateral.
Yeah, I guess, yes. Yeah, probably more than the oil.
That's why your taxes are going up. That's what Jose Matos don't want to tell you. You can change he talks about changing the tax forms, and you got to come in. It's complicated, which it is. But this is the American people.
But it's meant to be complicated.
The debt.
It's meant to be complicated. That way you have to hire the Jose Matoses and the CPAs and the tax preparers. We got to keep those people employed.
Job security, Brian. You were talking about collateral for business loans, but the United States debt, that big bill, the collateral is the American people. They keep spending, billions of dollars going to Argentina to help the farmers so they can take the jobs away from our farmers. The soybean, they're selling a lot now, Argentina, to China, and they're going to sell us our beef, their beef, Argentinian beef, to the U.S. to undercut our cattle ranchers here. What a nice plan. Isn't that fantastic?
Now, where did you get that?
That was in the news.
We're gonna buy Argentinian beef?
Yeah.
Well, actually, they do have some good beef. Cows.
Yeah, they do, but our cattle ranchers are going to be undercut.
Mm-hmm.
And
hey, look, we don't have to buy it.
We don't, but it's coming here. You're going to shop price. Where are you going to go for?
Go to the cow. You know what? I think maybe, to your point, where do we go? We go to the source. We've got farms around here where people get their beef processed. We can get good beef. We can get high quality beef, and we can help take care of our neighbors by doing that.
Oh, sure. And then another $21 billion you're talking about last week going to Gaza over 20 years. So we got all this. We can't pay our bills. We got $38 trillion in debt. We can't even pay the interest. And the American people are going to be the collateral to pay all this debt. That's why the dollar's weak in inflation. The dollar it only gives you 85 cents in Europe. That's how bad the dollar is. And it's that's why inflation, your food and everything's going up, the cost, because the dollar is losing its value. But people don't want to talk about that. I get a chuckle out, when people talk about the Democrats and see this and the Republicans. They're working for the same money brokers that have been selling America off by pieces. And now we're suffering. We're going to pay that debt. You're going to lose your property and all of that. So the global elites can get their take, and the global bankers, they want their money. Brian?
I'm listening, and I'm trying to think if there's any possible way around what you're talking about. I think the plan. I think folks are planning for us to do it the way that you're saying right now. And one of the things that I like to bring up here, and you started off talking about the zoning and whatnot, and the ADUs
right, exactly.
I think are okay, but I'm more for the tiny homes, because tiny homes by and large are less expensive. There's a price point that people can afford, and then an ADU. You're probably starting an ADU at $150,000, $250,000 and maybe higher, especially if you have to put in all the legal contraptions right now.
Yeah, right.
Well, you don't have to do that with the tiny home, especially one on
Brian,
wheels.
It's like a big fluorescent sign, that's flashing. The lights are flashing. This is a sign. This is a symptom of what's happened. The sign. I can see this big fluorescent sign flashing. The U.S. has reached third world. Politicians have sold the American people out. The bureaucrats. The dollar's tanking. So now American people are going to live in little shacks in their backyard. Can't people wake up and see that you're being robbed blind? That they've destroyed? A handful of people are making fortunes, and the politicians are bought and paid for their two corporations that sold us out. I wonder the American people are going to find out. When they're going to wake up? When it's going to be a depression worse than the 1930s?
The American people are trying their best to make ends meet right now. What you're able to see, you don't go out to work every day. You get to look at things by listening to radio, watching TV, experiencing things when you go outside the house. And you can date yourself back several decades to see how things have progressed over your lifetime. People are so busy. People are so busy right now. They don't see it.
It's a shame. It really is.
Well, what are you going to do?
The young people.
What are you going to do? They're out. Right. They're out scraping right now, folks. Yeah. Some folks are working 2 or 3 jobs in order to pay their bills. If they're working 2 or 3 jobs, how do they have the opportunity to see the forest with those trees right in front of their face?
Right. Some don't, but you feel it.
I think they feel
the dollar's weakening.
But you know what they feel? Here's what they feel. They feel if I don't pay this bill, I'm going to be up what's creek.
Correct. But the politicians have created this mess that we're in. We've been going in regression for years, and it's how we go at the ballot box. We vote for these people, and they've sold us out, Brian. And then the chickens are coming home to roost.
Pardon me for being like that. I think Malcolm X used that line, 1963.
Oh, yeah. Well, you played
60 some odd years ago.
That was your bumper.
Yeah. Oh, one of them, yeah. All right, man. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Brian.
Happy New Year. Talk to you soon.
You too.
508-996-0500. Left-leaning dollars floods Dedham Church as anti-ICE nativity display remains up weeks after Archdiocese said, take it down. The Archdiocese said it should be taken down. It didn't say take it down. But if you go by what New Boston Post is saying, they said take it down. And I've read the whole story. I'm not reading the whole story to you. But in reading the story, not once does Tom Joyce, the author of the piece, New Boston Post, the piece where the piece was published, nowhere does it say who donated the money to the church. And yet it says left-leaning, as in, the Democrats, the progressives. I don't think it's just left-leaning folks that are upset with what ICE is doing. I'm not left-leaning. I'm peeved. And there are other people, even conservatives, that don't like all that what ICE is doing. And I'm sure that there are plenty Catholic conservatives that are behind what this Dedham Church is doing. But to me, it goes back to something I said during hour number 1. You've got forces trying to pull the fabric, us, apart from each other. You can say left-leaning and not prove anything is really left-leaning. It's just dollars that went to help the church out. I'm a neophyte when it comes to things religion or religious oriented. Christmas, I celebrate like most people with family. I'm not a religious type person. I know many people are, and all the power to you. But there's something that this church has done, St. Susanna Church in Dedham, that speaks to the times. And I think that's exactly what the reverend or pastor or whatever the proper title might be to the person running St. Susanna's Church, and also to the board members that decided to choose this type of display. It wasn't a one-person operation, number one. And number two, here we are 2 days after Christmas, and to the best of my knowledge, it's still up. But any way you want to look at it, you can take it down now, and it's not really going to make a difference because the season is over. Now, I know there's still people celebrating, even the saying about the 12 days of Christmas. I get all of that. But I think St. Susanna has made its point. And it's not for me to agree with it or disagree with it. The point is that they put it up. The archdiocese asked them to take it down. They did not point a gun and say, take it down. And if they were really serious about having it being taken down, they would have met with the pastor, the church elders, whatever group that they deemed necessary to meet with, and they would have had that conversation. They didn't. So, Tom Joyce, New Boston Post, what is that telling you? That's telling me, well, whether or not the archdiocese likes what happened or does not like it, they're not going to make a big stink about it like New Boston Post is trying to do, like many other people are trying to do. For whatever it's worth, St. Susanna decided that they were going to live or die by what they have created here. If people don't want to go to that church, if they don't want to give to the basket or tithe or anything like that, they don't have to. If they want to stop going to prayer services during the month of December, all the power to them. If other people want to go there, and apparently others have gone to this church, I think probably to see the scene, all the power to them. Isn't that part of the whole religious freedom type thing? And yet, we've got people, oh, how could they? The people that are really complaining about it are those same people that you find sticking up for ICE and what they're doing or have been doing since Donald Trump took office. Otherwise, you don't see a whole bunch of people saying, oh, take it down. Let's see, one of the respondents was the guy that's the interim head of ICE. Well, you know, it's making it tough for his people, as if his people aren't making it tough for others. It's almost like, and this is what really gets me. There is a video dealing with there have been a lot of protests up and around Minneapolis, Minnesota. And NBC News had one of their reporters actually riding with ICE and reporting on the scene and another organization had a reporter on the street with the people, you would think they all went to the same event. You would think that the two reports would pretty much mirror each other. But apparently, or at least the one that I saw, did not. And the NBC reporter who was riding with ICE wrote the story and presented the story in a more favorable light to the ICE agents. Whereas the person reporting on the street, want to say fair and balanced or more toward the street people, you can. Both stories were factual, yet presented from a different angle. Now, personally, I would say this. When you ride around with one of the combatants, let's say, you're going to tend to be more on the side of the people you're riding around with. So, I could say that for NBC as well as the reporter out on the street. But some of the things that weren't reported was ICE shooting tear gas at some of the people on the streets and saying the people on the streets were coming after them as opposed to them going after the people on the streets. So that's part of what's going on. And as I look at this whole thing dealing with the nativity scene, what we have are, again, there may be a few people that go to St. Susanna Church that have decided not to go to that church while the nativity scene, or they may never return to that church. But for everyone that has walked away, another one has come over. Will it stay like that? Maybe not. Maybe so. But I would also look at it from the side of the street. This church, St. Susanna Church in Dedham, has gotten a whole bunch of money from people that are praising them for the scene. Does that make it right? Doesn't make it wrong. Churches are always looking for contributions, donations. And if people want to contribute because of the anti-ICE nativity display, so be it. We're here in the greater New Bedford area. I'm not a part of that church. You're not, to the best of my knowledge, a part of that church. We're not even a part of the Archdiocese of Boston. So if that's the display that they want to do, it doesn't mean that you have to support it or I have to support it. I could really care less. I care because I do believe it's an okay thing for them to do. I also believe, and I haven't really gotten a response or answer to this question, but just how much say does the Archdiocese have over the individual church parish? And I would say in this particular case, doesn't seem like they have much. It seems like the church is at will to do what they want. They were asked to take it down. They weren't forced. And if they were forced, they didn't do it. And so what gets me, I read the story, so maybe I fall into the category that Tom Joyce, the author of the piece in New Boston Post, really wanted. He wanted to get me and as many people as possible to read this story. And he used the title, Left-Leaning $2 signs, floods Dedham Church as anti-ICE nativity display remains up weeks after Archdiocese said take it down. But as I recall reading, the Archdiocese never said it like that. They said it should be taken down. They said it was inappropriate. There's a big difference. It's inappropriate. It's not illegal by church standards. But that's what they did. All right, 508-996-0500. I normally would have started the show with this, and quite frankly, I don't know why I'm ending the show with this today. But we had Christmas a couple of days ago, right? Yeah, 2 days ago. Couple of things. I had an excellent Christmas, and I hope you did too. And I hope your new year, your 2026, is better than your 2025. That it's happy and healthy and prosperous. But didn't you just wish that some of the snow that fell down overnight, fell down New Year's Eve into, Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, wouldn't it have looked a lot better around here with the house lights all lit up? I think so. Was there anything special this Christmas compared to many of the others? Here's one part that I won't forget as I go into the break. For the past 3 years, we've had Christmas over at my older son's home in New Bedford. Great time. Actually, it's been there many years prior, but 3 years ago, woman friend started coming to the Christmas, and she's added a great piece to the entire celebration. But this year, my son sat me at the end of the table. Now, I need you to imagine this for just a second. There I am at the end of the table. To the left of me is woman friend, and that works out pretty darn well because I'm left-handed. Woman friend is left-handed, so our elbows, our arms, they don't collide. To the right of me is my ex-wife. And we're still friendly and stuff. But imagine, there you are at the end of the table. Woman friend on one side, ex-wife on the other. And if I have to get up to go somewhere, I got to somehow get behind woman friend in order to get to the table or wherever we've got the food. And one time it took so long that when I came to sit down, woman friend had moved to the seat that I was in, and so now she's sitting next to my ex-wife, and I'm sitting where woman friend used to sit. And the two of them are back and forth. Now I'm sitting there and I'm sweating bullets. Something is going to come out. Oh, no. And I know that there's some guys that are sitting there saying, How could you ever let that happen?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
This is WBSM.
Brill Cream, a little dabble do ya? Brill Cream, you look so debonair. Brill Cream, the gals will all pursue ya. They love to get their fingers in your hair.
You know, most people are not business owners, but just about everybody knows one. The dirty little secret is most owners don't qualify for a bank loan because they lack collateral. At legitimate business funders, owners can get up to $2 million in funding with no collateral, even with a low credit score. And they can get that funding in a couple of days. Find legitimate business funders online at legitimatebusinessfunders.com. Legitimatebusinessfunders.com.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-221-6085. 800-221-6085. 800-221-6085. That's 800-221-6085.
Winter is the perfect time to explore California. And there's no better way to do it than in a brand new Toyota hybrid with 19 fuel-efficient options, like the stylish all-hybrid Camry, the adventure-ready RAV4 hybrid, or the rugged Tacoma hybrid. Toyota has the perfect ride for any adventure. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan, an exclusive hybrid battery warranty, and of course, Toyota's legendary quality and reliability. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive one today so you can be prepared for wherever the road takes you this winter. Toyota, let's go places. See your local Toyota dealer for hybrid battery warranty details.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Okay, let's go. Top row. Tell me what you see on the eye chart.
EYECARE.
Good. Next row.
AM America? iCareAmerica.org?
Yes, Eye Care America is a program that helps seniors 65 and older who haven't had a medical eye exam in 3 or more years. They also help those with an increased risk for glaucoma. And the appointment is often free or at no out-of-pocket cost. There are thousands of volunteer ophthalmologists throughout the United States, which means there's probably a participating doctor right where you live. To protect your eyes, early detection is key. So don't wait. It's easy to see if you qualify. Go to iCareAmerica.org today. That's EYECareAmerica.org.
There's no better fool than the Freedom Fools. Now, back to Brian.
As of the end of next week, SNAP benefits are going to be frozen. They go away. Donald Trump is the first president in U.S. history to cut off SNAP benefits to people in America.
And I suppose we could say, Maura Healey, you might be the first governor in Massachusetts history to open up the floodgates and actually give housing to people that shouldn't be here. I mean, it goes both ways, Governor. But be that as it may, I get it. I just heard from Renee Ledbetter. She has been on the program before. Her organization was instrumental in the signature drive for the rent control ballot question. And her response, because I've been questioning whether or not actually I had a caller call in during last hour. And he stated that it would be a local option if the ballot question were to pass by voters for rent control, then the individual communities would then vote on it. According to Renee Ledbetter, the ballot question is for the entire state, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which means if the voters do indeed vote it in, then there is no local option. I didn't think so, but I'm glad I got the clarification. And you heard what you heard earlier. I gave the caller discretion. And we'll see where it goes from there. Does it, now that you know better, does it change your mind? Another caller, and I wanted to say something about it at the particular time, but other things kind of popped up. He used the term graffiti. There is graffiti on walls, on buildings. If you go downtown, that what I call the missing tooth piece of land between, I'm not sure if it's between Purchase Street and Acushnet Avenue. Lots of writing on that fence. What I'm getting at is, have you noticed over the past, let's say 30 years, there's a lot more graffiti on buildings, on fences, on trains, on brick walls, supporting trestles than there ever used to be? And some of the graffiti is really elaborate. And I sit and I wonder, how could somebody do this kind of work in a short matter of time? And what do I mean by short matter of time? The police didn't stop them, because I don't remember any reports about somebody being arrested for spray painting on a wall, defacing property. Now, it could be one thing if it's allowed, but there's a lot of city property. There's a lot of state property. And I assume partnership property, state, federal, local, where there's a lot of graffiti. Sometimes, I look at it and say, it looks pretty good. But most of the time I'm saying, God, you are bringing down the neighborhood with that stuff. And I never hear police reports about they caught the graffiti bandit. Almost as if the graffiti is supposed to be there. I've been to Mexico. I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to many countries. When I was up in Canada, every time I've been up to Canada, I don't see graffiti on old buildings up there. I don't see it on train trestle tracks, buildings. Mexico, yes. But it makes me wonder, how on earth have we allowed our backyard to be devalued, defaced? And to me, it is devalued. I don't think that somebody that's going to buy a property like that is saying, wow, I pay extra for that property because it's got graffiti on it. Even if it looks good. And most of the time, it does not look good. I know there's some artist out there looking to express her or himself. But really, again, it's part of the decline. How is it that we expect law enforcement to stop drugs and all this other stuff, and they can't even catch the graffiti artist? 508-996-0500. Thank you. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Winging.
Hey, I think they used to be called peace officers. Now they're law enforcement officers.
Peace officers?
I think that's what they used to be called.
But if they don't do their job peacefully, why would we want to call them peace officers?
The name changed. I don't know, to enforce.
To protect whom?
Well, Brian, I think you're missing something, right? About being an American. The Star Spangled Banner, it does not sing, rockets stay on the ground, unlit bombs make no sound. No, man, it's in the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air. We knew what we was getting into when we signed on to the gig to be an American. We like bombing stuff, man. 119 times already in Somalia this year alone. Just this past Monday, the 19th, for the 119th time.
Yeah, so let me see if I understand this correctly. We're bombing the hell out of Somalia, and we want to take Somalians in particular out of the Minneapolis area and send them back?
It's all for the chaos, man. Don't you know you need chaos to change society? How can you change a society without chaos, man? Freedom is too dangerous, Brian. That's why we need to have the umbrella of big government over us to give us security. You can understand that, right? They hate us because we're free, so we got to bring in some tyranny.
So in other words,
they won't hate us.
Our own country hates us because we're free?
They do, man. The people, the war on terror, man, that we're going to go on forever. Hey, did you hear Jack Reed in a Senate Armed Services Committee the other day talking to a general about if he would do a tax inside the U.S. of A? And his answer was pretty startling.
Didn't the general try to walk around that?
This is what he said. Jack Reed asked him a question, if he'd be willing to carry out orders to attack so-called people designated as terror organizations within the U.S. And he said this, if I had questions, I would elevate that to the chairman and the secretary. And if I had no concerns and I was confident in the lawful order, I would definitely execute that order. In a leaked FBI memo, Pam Bondi just directed the FBI to compile a list of groups that are engaging in acts that may be constituted as domestic terrorism.
Yes, that I know about.
So it's funny how the war on terror now it's boomerang and it's going to one day come back on us.
Did you read what constitutes being a domestic terror, or what could constitute being a domestic terrorist?
It's a whole big list, Brian. It's a big, beautiful list.
But a big, beautiful list. Did you, a couple of them, if I recall correctly, could be that you're worshiping different than the way we worship here in the United States.
Or then when the next administration comes in, the so-called lefties, then they'll designate the terrorists, like if you don't think children should be mutilated, or if you don't want to put your boy in a dress, whatever they want to label, Brian. That's the beauty of the war on terror. You just create some labels, you designate them as terrorists, and you can destroy them. It's pretty epic. Wish I had thought of it. I'm just living through it. And so are you, and so is everybody else.
Mm. All right, man.
Man, peace.
Thank you. I do appreciate. I don't know if you were listening to me during hour number one. I started the show by asking, is the USA empire unraveling? There's a reason why the show was titled Freedom Fools. Either I'm a fool for wanting ultimate freedom, or I'm a fool for freedom. But as you can see, left and right, whether here on the homeland or outside the country, freedoms, our freedom, our economic freedom, as well as our personal freedoms, are deteriorating. And to go back to what I was talking about prior to that caller, looking at the graffiti on the wall. Do you remember, it may have been in the very early 1970s or the late 1960s, there was a public service announcement that had a Native American canoeing solo. He was going through a pond and he saw litter to the left of him, litter to the right of him, and it made him cry. He shed a tear. When I see graffiti on places that I would think, why is this here? It doesn't make me want to cry. But I get that same feeling that the Native American was getting. And it was, it's heartbreaking to see the different things that are happening in the United States and wondering, can little old me, and, not really little old me, but, how do you make it stop? How do we regain our clout, our freedom, economic and personal? 508-996-0500. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. Good day, Brian.
Good day, Brian.
The problem is the world is a fool because it doesn't obey God. It fights against him. The Apostle Paul does a beautiful teaching on that, and so does Apostle Peter. You're supposed to arm yourself with the mind of Christ. Once you have suffered, you're free. In other words, the apostles all willingly laid their life down for Christ. They were examples for us. But that's not what they teach in buildings that they call churches made out of wood and stone. The church that Christ is building is built without hands. It's by the Holy Spirit. Those that obey him, that are not disobedient children. Judgment begins at the house of God in 1 Peter 4. And if the righteous scarcely are saved, where will the ungodly and sinners appear? You got to study the Father's word to show yourself approved unto God, rightly dividing the word of truth, so you're not shamed. A workman that pleases him. That's what Christ did. He pleased the Father all the time. He was our example to show us the way to be children of God rather than children of the devil, like in John chapter 8.
So, what are you expecting people to do with this knowledge that you are imparting on us?
To do his will, to do the Father's will like Christ did. The whole world.
Do you think people are going to do that?
Oh, they will during 1,000 years with a rod of iron. They will have, then everybody will be taught during that time, like in Revelation 20, Isaiah 14. But now, those that do his will be blessed. They will have eternal life. The second death will have no power over them, as is spoken of in Revelation chapter 20. I look forward. I'm afraid. I'm not afraid. If you came at my apartment with a machete or a gun or whatever, I would be happy. If
really?
God sent
You'd be happy?
Yeah.
Here I am coming with a machete like Friday the 13th, and you're going to tell me you're going to be happy.
John the Baptist, he was blessed.
You're not John the Baptist.
No, but he was the one that came to prepare the way for the Christ, as is spoken in Isaiah 40. Actually, he was Elijah, as Christ tells us in Matthew 11, if you receive it, and Matthew 17. I would rather be great in the sight of God than great in the sight of men. Because those that are great in the sight of men, that's Babylon the Great in Revelation 17 and 18. The whole world is fighting against God. They don't even know it. How can you win? Because we all die, and it's appointed unto man to die and then judgment. As spoken in
I don't know what to do with
9.
that. There are lots of people like me that are agnostic. Okay, and so we hear what you're saying, and we appreciate your words, but basically it kind of falls on deaf ears.
I know. I understand. Yeah. If you have a Bible, I don't know, I never read one until I was in my early 50s. So if you have one, just take a look, because you talk about freedom fools. I like that you say that. But if you really want to see what God says about it through the apostles, take a look in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 through 11, which Apostle Paul talks about that. That's why all the suffering that he did, he joyed in it because he was doing God's will.
I got to tell you, I'm listening. I'm serious now. I'm listening to you, and you're talking about suffering. People are suffering right now. They don't want to suffer anymore, and I don't think that they're willing to open up and dust off a Bible to read about somebody else's suffering that they're not even quite sure about.
Well, if they don't do that, you think suffering is now? You think this is suffering? Suffering is a lot worse when you die. We're all
suffering is a lot worse when you die.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Once you're dead, you're not going to feel it anymore. Thank you for your call. Happy New Year.
The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised.
WBSM.
A dog can get mighty hungry when he doesn't get his chuck wagon.
You know, most people are not business owners, but just about everybody knows one. The dirty little secret is most owners don't qualify for a bank loan because they lack collateral. At Legitimate Business Funders, owners can get up to $2 million in funding with no collateral, even with a low credit score. And they can get that funding in a couple of days. Find Legitimate Business Funders online at legitimatebusinessfunders.com. legitimatebusinessfunders.com.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-221-6085. 800-221-6085. 800-221-6085. That's 800-221-6085.
Hi, I'm Jenny Garth. I've loved and cared for rescue animals since I was a little girl growing up on a farm in Illinois. My pets have always been some of the most important members of my family. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals for over 140 years. Adopting an animal in need can help save a life and add a new member to your family. Since 1981, American Humane has celebrated Adopt a Dog Month each October in an effort to help the estimated 3 to 4 million animals waiting in shelters every year to get the loving, forever home that they deserve. I urge you to consider fostering or adopting a shelter pet and to support the noble mission of American Humane. Together, we can make a significant difference in the lives of these loving creatures. For more information, please check out AmericanHumane.org.
Freedom Pools on WBSM. Here's more with Brian Thomas.
And that is it for Freedom Fools for 2025. I'll be back for Barry on Monday and Tuesday. 24 in Seekonk, 25 in New Bedford. Adios.
Traveling around from town to town. Sometimes I think I'll settle down, but I know I'd hunger to be free. Roving's the only life for me. Adrifting, the world is my friend. I'm traveling along the road without it.
Winter is the perfect time to explore California, and there's no better way to do it than in a brand new Toyota hybrid with 19 fuel-efficient options, like the stylish all-hybrid Camry, the adventure-ready RAV4 hybrid, or the rugged Tacoma hybrid. Toyota has the perfect ride for any adventure. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan, an exclusive hybrid battery warranty, and of course, Toyota's legendary quality and reliability. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive one today so you can be prepared for wherever the road takes you this winter. Toyota, let's go places. See your local Toyota dealer for hybrid battery warranty details.
What do you think makes the perfect snack?
It's gotta be when I'm really craving it and it's convenient.
Could you be more specific?
When it's cravenient.
Okay.
Like a freshly baked cookie made with real butter, available right now in the street at AM/PM, or a savory breakfast sandwich I can grab in just a second at AM/PM.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Well, yeah, we're talking about what I crave.
Which is anything from AM/PM.
What more could you want?
Stop by AM/PM where the snacks and drinks are perfectly craveable and convenient. That's Cravenience. AM/PM, too much good stuff.